Former UFC light heavyweight champion Magomed Ankalaev may not have entered the Octagon at full strength during his highly anticipated rematch against Alex Pereira at UFC 320. Ankalaev's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, has now revealed that the fighter was dealing with serious issues leading up to the fight, which could have compromised his performance. The main event, held at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, saw Ankalaev suffer a shocking first-round knockout loss, with Pereira reclaiming the UFC light heavyweight title just 80 seconds into the opening frame. The matchup was a direct rematch from UFC 313 earlier this year, where Ankalaev had earned a unanimous decision victory over Pereira to become the division's champ. Following the devastating defeat, Abdelaziz took to Instagram to show support for his fighter and hint at the behind-the-scenes struggles that Ankalaev faced during his training camp. "Alex was the better man on Saturday night," Abdelaziz wrote. "We accept our losses with respect and dignity. There's no bitterness toward Pereira. I have full respect for what he has achieved in this sport." Abdelaziz went on to suggest that Ankalaev's preparation for the bout was far from ideal. "There were a lot of things that happened with Ankalaev during camp," he continued. "But that's for him to talk about when he's ready. If it were up to me, he shouldn't have fought at all given some of the issues we were dealing with. But he's a grown man. He makes his own choices, and he stands by them." The statement has fueled speculation among fans about what might have gone wrong in Ankalaev's camp, with many wondering whether injuries, illness, or personal matters played a role in his underwhelming performance. Regardless of the circumstances, Abdelaziz emphasized that Ankalaev remains determined to come back stronger and reclaim his place among the division's elite. While no official details have been shared about the reported complications, Abdelaziz's comments suggest that Ankalaev's decision to compete was made despite significant setbacks, a move that may have cost him the title. Before moving on to the next news, we have a quick request for you. We're always working to improve our content and truly value your support. If you could take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon, it would mean a lot to us. That way, you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev has brushed off Ilia Topuria's recent callouts, labeling the former UFC featherweight champion as just a big mouth from Spain with a nice haircut. While fans were hoping for a potential super fight between the two, the matchup appears to be on hold, at least for now. The tension began after Topuria announced his move to the lightweight division, aiming to capture Makhachev's vacated title. However, Makhachev soon revealed his own plan to move up to welterweight, leaving the 155-pound belt behind to pursue a new challenge. The decision came shortly after his friend and training partner Belal Muhammad lost the welterweight title at UFC 315. With Jack Della Maddalena now crowned as the new champion, Makhachev, 27, on MMA, 16-1 UFC, said there's no conflict of interest in competing for the 170-pound belt. Makhachev's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, confirmed that if Muhammad had retained his title, the reigning lightweight king would have stayed at 155 pounds, potentially setting up a showdown with Topuria, 16-0 MMA, 8-0 UFC. The Spanish-Georgian star, who vacated his featherweight belt earlier this year to chase lightweight gold, is now set to fight former champion Charles Oliveira for the vacant title at UFC 316 in June. Topuria, however, isn't buying Makhachev's explanation. He's accused the Dagestani champion of dodging him and labeled him a hypocrite for avoiding another featherweight-turned-lightweight challenger after twice defeating Alexander Volkanovski, the man who reclaimed the 145-pound title that Topuria left behind. Makhachev, on the other hand, insists his record speaks for itself. Since capturing the vacant lightweight title in October 2022 by defeating Oliveira, he has dominated the division with consecutive wins over Volkanovski twice, Dustin Poirier, and Renato Moicano, setting a new UFC record for most successful lightweight title defenses. His resume also includes impressive victories over top contenders such as Arman Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker. Meanwhile, Topuria's rise has been equally remarkable. After knocking out Volkanovski in February 2024 to win the featherweight title, he successfully defended it with a devastating finish over former champion Max Holloway later that year. Whether these two elite champions eventually cross paths remains uncertain, but their growing rivalry has already captured the attention of the MMA world. Move on to another news. Alex Pereira reclaimed his UFC light heavyweight championship in emphatic fashion on October 4th, delivering a stunning first-round knockout against former title holder Magomed Ankalaev. The Brazilian superstar, known for his devastating power and precise striking, needed just 80 seconds to end the fight at UFC 320 and reassert his dominance in the division. The bout began with both fighters cautiously exchanging strikes, but it didn't take long for Pereira to find his rhythm. A perfectly timed overhand right crashed into Ankalaev's jaw, sending the Russian to the canvas. Pereira immediately followed up with a relentless barrage of ground-and-pound strikes until the referee intervened, stopping the contest and sealing one of the most dramatic finishes of the year. With the victory, Pereira not only regained the UFC light heavyweight crown, but also reaffirmed his status as one of the most electrifying and marketable fighters in mixed martial arts today. His ability to deliver highlight reel knockouts and his composed, warrior-like demeanor have made him a fan favorite and a major pay-per-view attraction. Now back at the pinnacle of the sport, Pereira's next move is already generating enormous buzz. During his post-fight interview with Joe Rogan, Potan revealed that he initially planned to call out UFC heavyweight champion Jon Jones. However, out of respect for his late brother Arthur, who recently passed away, Pereira chose to withhold the call-out. Even so, he made it clear that a move to heavyweight remains a key goal for his career. A potential Pereira versus Jones showdown is already being discussed as one of the most anticipated and intriguing fights the UFC could book. The matchup would pit Pereira's world-class striking and knockout power against Jones' elite grappling, fight IQ, and unmatched championship pedigree. Given Pereira's rapid rise through multiple divisions and his ability to deliver spectacular finishes, a heavyweight debut seems inevitable, and a clash with Jon Jones could be the defining fight of his legacy. As speculation grows, fans and analysts alike are eager to see whether Potan can conquer yet another weight class and solidify his place among the greatest fighters in UFC history. Move on to another news. Dricus du Plessis is on the verge of making history. If he successfully defends his UFC middleweight title against Khamzat Chimaev, he will tie Chris Weidman with 3 consecutive title defenses, the third most in the division's history, behind only Israel Adesanya and Anderson Silva. With 2 successful defenses already under his belt, du Plessis knows that another victory could elevate his name into the conversation of the greatest middleweights of all time. Speaking at UFC 321 Media Day, du Plessis expressed his admiration for Weidman and Silva while acknowledging the evolution of the sport over time. "I think Chris Weidman is amazing. I'm a massive fan," he said. "When you look at title defenses, Anderson Silva stands out. To me, he's the greatest of all time, a true legend and someone I've always looked up to. But you also have to consider the eras. Who were they fighting? Were they facing full-time, elite athletes like we have now? The sport has evolved so much. It's harder than ever to dominate for long periods. Still, du Plessis remains grounded about his place in history. I know I have a long way to go before being called the greatest of all time, or even the greatest middleweight ever, but after this fight, I believe I'll be right up there, getting closer to that conversation." The South African champion is riding an impressive 11-fight winning streak, with his last loss dating back to 2018, 2 bouts before joining the UFC. Since then, he has torn through the division, earning victories over elite competition, including a statement second-round stoppage of former champion Robert Whittaker to earn his title shot. Du Plessis went on to defeat Sean Strickland for the championship and successfully defended it against both Adesanya and Strickland in their rematch. Now, standing in his way is the undefeated juggernaut Khamzat Chimaev, 14-0 in MMA, 8-0 UFC. Odds makers have listed Chimaev as the favorite, a position du Plessis fully understands. "Every fight I've had was the toughest one yet," he explained. "Whittaker, Strickland, Adesanya, all massive challenges. And now it's Khamzat, who's an incredible fighter. But after every fight, people say the same thing. He did it again. Dricus proved us wrong. This time will be no different." Confident yet humble, du Plessis embraces the pressure that comes with greatness. He knows that even if he defeats Chimaev, critics will still look for the next challenger. Move on to another news. The highly anticipated UFC 321 pay-per-view event is set to take place on October 25 at the iconic Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. This stacked fight card promises an action-packed night featuring some of the best talent in mixed martial arts, headlined by 2 world title bouts that could reshape their respective divisions. In the main event, reigning UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall will put his title on the line against former interim champion Ciryl Gane. This matchup brings together 2 of the most technically gifted heavyweights in modern MMA. Aspinall's explosive speed and precision, striking against Gane's elite footwork and tactical mastery. Both fighters are known for their unique blend of athleticism and power, making this a true clash for heavyweight supremacy. The co-main event features a historic battle for the vacant UFC Women's Strawweight Championship, as Brazil's Verna Championship as Brazil's Verna Jandiroba faces off against American submission specialist Mackenzie Dern-Dardenor. With both fighters known for their world-class grappling and Brazilian jiu-jitsu credentials, fans can expect a technical showcase on the ground, with the potential for a thrilling submission finish. Beyond the championship bouts, the main card is filled with high-stakes matchups. Rising bantamweight contender Umar Nurmagomedov takes on the experienced Mario Bautista in a pivotal fight that could determine the next title challenger at 135 pounds. In the heavyweight division, Alexander Volkov faces powerful grappler Jailton Almeida in what promises to be a classic striker versus grappler showdown. Elsewhere on the card, Alexander Rikic meets Azamat Murzakanov in a crucial light heavyweight clash, while Ikram Aliskerov battles Park Jun-young in a middleweight bout expected to deliver fireworks. The prelims feature rising stars and fan favorites, including Abdulkarim Al-Salwadi versus Matthias Camilo in lightweight action, Hamdi Abdulwahab versus Chris Barnett in a heavyweight brawl, Azat Maxim versus Mitch Raposo at flyweight, and Jacqueline Imoram versus Mitsuki Inju in a women's strawweight con. With an earlier than usual start time for international viewers, UFC 321 promises a night of world-class competition, title implications, and the kind of unforgettable moments that have come to define the UFC's events in Abu Dhabi. Move on to another news. Former UFC light heavyweight champion Jiri Prochazka has his sights set on redemption, and he wants it in the form of a trilogy fight with Alex Pereira. After two hard-fought encounters with the Brazilian knockout artist, Prochazka believes he has evolved as a fighter and is confident that a third meeting would produce a very different outcome. Speaking after UFC 320, where Pereira reclaimed the light heavyweight title with a dominant first-round finish over Magomed Ankalaev, Prochazka reflected on watching the fight live from cageaside. Cameras captured him looking emotional as Pereira had his hand raised once again, but the Czech warrior insists it wasn't just admiration, it was motivation. "It was a fantastic night and a fantastic win," Prochazka said. "When I saw Alex win, I was genuinely happy for him. I have a good relationship with him and his team. There's real respect between us. I wanted him to win because of all the things Ankalaev said before the fight. All that nonsense and arrogance. So seeing Alex go in there, fight with anger, and push forward like that, it inspired me. That's exactly the kind of pressure I need to bring into my own fights." Despite suffering defeats to Pereira in both of their previous meetings, Prochazka believes his experience has made him stronger. He feels that the lessons learned from those bouts have refined his fighting approach and mentality. "If it were anyone else who had lost twice to Alex, people might not be interested in a third fight," Prochazka admitted. "But because of the way I fight, the excitement, the unpredictability, fans still want to see it, and I believe I'm in a position to make it happen. My goal is the belt. It doesn't matter how. I will find a way." When asked what would be different in a potential trilogy bout, Prochazka didn't hesitate. "I will take everything I learned from our first two fights," he said firmly. "I won't repeat my mistakes. I'll be better. I'll adapt. I will find a way." Prochazka's words carry the calm conviction of a veteran who has been tested by fire. For him, a third meeting with Pereira wouldn't just be another fight. It would be the culmination of growth, resilience, and unfinished business in one of the most compelling rivalries in UFC light heavyweight history. Move on to another news. Conor McGregor has always been known for his confidence, charisma, and dominance inside the octagon, but in a rare moment of reflection, the former two-division UFC champion admitted that the immense pressures of superstardom nearly broke him at the height of his career. Speaking about his journey from fighter to promoter, McGregor opened up about the toll that fame, expectations, and constant promotion took on him both mentally and emotionally. "I've been promoting for a long time now," McGregor said. "People see me as the face of combat sports, but I've been doing this since my early days in the UFC, learning from the Fertitta Empire with Dana White leading the way. I was the protege, the one carrying the torch. And I'll tell you this, it's not easy. Fighting and promoting at the same time takes a different kind of strength." McGregor explained that many people underestimate how demanding it is to juggle both responsibilities. "To promote alone is easy and to fight alone is easy," he said. "When you're just a fighter coming up, no one really cares about you yet. You can show up, do your thing, and there's no outside pressure. No cameras, no questions, no distractions. It's simple. But once you rise, once you become the star, everything changes. Suddenly, you're not just fighting. You're promoting, performing, and carrying the weight of expectations every single day. And when those two two worlds collide, it's incredibly draining. The Irish superstar admitted that the combined weight of success and fame took a deep personal toll. "I won't lie, it almost broke me," McGregor confessed. "In fact, maybe it did break me at times. I achieved massive success, reached global superstardom, and it just became overwhelming." Now stepping into the role of promoter and part owner in the bare-knuckle fighting championship, McGregor says he has a renewed sense of respect for fighters who take on both roles. "To fight and promote at the highest level deserves nothing but respect and support," he said. "That's why I'm here, to make sure that our combatants get that recognition." McGregor's words serve as a reminder that even the sport's biggest star is not immune to the challenges of fame.